a quick video on confidence and the only three things, or I want to say the top three things you need to know in order to be confident. I just kind of want to preface this very quickly with I did not have great self-confidence and self-esteem growing up. So these are three phrases that you can keep in mind that I'm saying have helped me. And so I really think that they're quite universal and they can help you. And also I do want to say that that feeling of not having confidence, it comes in waves, but these three statements are kind of sort of pillars that I always refer to, and they keep me grounded and they don't rely on anything external, so you can always have them in your pocket and in the back of your mind. Number one is you have your own purpose. This one is very important because sometimes we lose the feeling of confidence because we are looking at other people and we think to ourselves, I could have done this, or I should have done that by now, or why am I not doing what this person's doing or what these people are doing? But we all have a very unique purpose and it's unique to us. We're going to bring really distinct and special products, ideas, designs, work, contributions to the world that no one else can bring. So always remember that. And whenever you're thinking to yourself, I can never be like this person, or I just feel as though I'm an outlier with respect to these people or this institution or this group of people, I have felt that way at times in certain periods of my life, but there's millions of groups out there. I mean, you can't fit in all of them. You have your own purpose, you have your own character, and when you know that you have your own path and you just focus on that, it gives you the confidence you need because you know, this is mine. No one can take this away from me, just like that path is theirs and no one can take that away from them. So just rest assured in your path and your purpose because it's unique to you. And number two, knowing your imperfections and just accepting them. We all have imperfections. Everyone has different imperfections from a physical standpoint and that of mental attributes, right? So in those two realms. And I've accepted whatever my imperfections are physically, and also whatever I think my weaknesses are. What I can work on, I work on. What I find maybe relative to the average person I'm not as strong in, I just do what I can and I move on, and I understand that I also have strengths that other people don't have, and you can call that innate characteristics and talents or whatnot. But everybody has areas that they would call strengths and weaknesses, and people have different strengths and weaknesses, so just learn to accept that. So those being imperfections relating to mental faculties and characteristics and traits. And as far as, you know, physical imperfections are concerned, everybody has imperfections, so don't waste your time constantly reminding yourself. I just like to own the features that I have, and all of those that I would deem to be flaws, I just know that I'm human and we move on. Just remind yourself you're human. Everyone's got flaws. Even the person that you think is flawless, or they think that they're flawless, it's the way the mind works. Everyone probably thinks about their flaws, so it's part of being human, so let it go. And the last is just acceptance for things that are outside of your control. So I think a lot of times we can lose a sense of confidence when we rely on other people's reactions and acceptance from other people and the outcome of events, rejection, and whether you fit in or not, and maybe how well you fit into certain groups, which sounds like what I said before, but accepting what's not in your control is very important, because when we go out into the world and we are pursuing different aspirations and ambitions, there's a lot that's not in our control, and we oftentimes really grab onto those circumstances and outcomes that are not in our control, and then based off of that, we kind of consider that into our calculations when it comes to how confident we should feel about ourselves. But I want to tell you that if you just do what you know you need to do, you set the standards for yourself to put in the effort that's required, and you don't focus on whatever is not in your control, you will be able to stand on a sense of confidence because you comprehend that those outcomes are not in your control, but the work you put in the intention, your mindset, how are you dealing with trials and tribulations, how are you solving different problems. That's up to you. That's building your character. Everything else is outside and it's not your problem, and it doesn't need to affect your sense of confidence. As a matter of fact, the more you try, the more you update your thinking and you reapproach things from another lens, you're sharper and you are progressing yourself forward, and you honestly should feel more confident when you do this. So accept the things that are not in your control, and it will boost your confidence. You won't be looking outside and external signals for approval and thinking, why do I not have this approval? Because you've accepted what's not in your control. That wraps up the 3 main phrases to keep in mind when you want to really build an internal sense of self-confidence. I would say a really strong and unshakable sense of self-confidence is internally founded. It's a structure that you create for yourself that is independent of approval, external validation, external events and circumstances, because life and the future is all probability and uncertainty to different degrees. And so, you need to make sure that you account for that when you are thinking about how you relate to those events, right? Because a lot of times we do judge outcomes that are related to us, and then we focus on those outcomes and think, what does this mean for myself and my performance and as a person? But learning how to deal with things that are outside of your control and knowing how to kind of bucket that as outside of you is very important, because there's just so much uncertainty. So I hope this helps. These are really 3 pillars that I take with me that really help me whenever I'm kind of going through phases and cycles. Sometimes I don't really feel as confident as I do some days, and I go back to these 3 phrases. I see which one is kind of weighing me down that day, and I remind myself. I think they're pretty transcendent, and whatever is going on in your life, it can be a refresher, and it can kind of help snap you out of whatever it is you're focusing on that's probably outside of your control. Maybe a belief that you're holding on to that's not serving you. So I hope this helps, and you can get more confident. Just invest in yourself and trust in the process. Good night.